Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JoAnna's Point of View, or POV, for those porn watchers that understand what point of view is abbreviated to. Thank you guys for joining me again today as I discuss some of the things that have happened since I last saw y'all. Or y'all last saw me, but you know what I mean. Please excuse me, I had to make sure that it was recorded. Y'all know I like to start my shows off by reading something that I wrote. So I want to do the same thing now. So here it goes, and then we'll discuss this and a few other topics. This is called The Hazards of Love. What kind of lessons in love did I receive as a child? From a mother who never quite understood her worth, or from an emotionally absent father so concerned with sowing his wild oats that he was only available for the disciplinary abuse. You know, making sure I stayed well under his foot. And no one thinks in the moment about the long-lasting effects they're languishing on their kids. We're all guilty of living in the moment, unaware of the seeds we're planting for our children to sow and reap the benefits of all of our passed down traumas. With tears in our eyes, we watch the fruits of our labor bloom into recreated versions of us, versions of them. If we are like me, then we try to salvage the pieces of ourselves, doing the work even though it hurts, trying to rewrite history, or at least speak truth to the lies. But it hurts. Looking at the pieces of broken you that you've given to your kids, and these are just a few of the hazards of love. I was thinking about that. Y'all know I'm doing my work like Young Vincent said. You know, you got to do your work in order to get to the next level in your life. But I'm definitely trying to get to that next level. So, you know, I be sitting around sometimes and it just hit me, and y'all, it's really weird because anybody that knows me knows that I'm not an outwardly emotional person. And I've always been that way because it seems when I was younger and I would show my emotion that instead of making people regret or stop whatever they were doing, it seemed to feed them. It seemed to feed some hunger that people had in them to see that I was in pain and, you know, that I was hurting. So I learned at a really, really young age to stop crying. And I would be getting my ass beat with whatever my daddy decided to pick up and beat me with. And before every blow, I would hold my breath, because I know that if you hold your breath, you don't feel that initial pain. You might feel the sting of it afterwards, but you don't feel the initial surprise feeling of that pain when you hold your breath, because your brain is now like, wait, are we dying now? Like, what's going on? So it shuts off the feeling everywhere else as to figure out with you, like, what's going on? Are we about to die? Because you're not breathing. So I learned at a really early age to not cry, because I saw early on that there was some type of perverse satisfaction that people would get out of seeing the hurt in me. So I started to be like, I just ain't gonna show you the hurt in me. But in doing so, I inadvertently have passed on some of that to my children. Neither of my children know how to express themselves when they're hurting or when they're upset, or they just, neither one of them know how to express themselves when something's wrong. And both, I've told my children since the day they were born up until now, you can tell me anything. You can tell me anything. I try to have that open relationship with my children. And they do. Like, they'll come and tell me things that other kids probably don't tell their parents. But if I ask them a question like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. They clam up, like they get nervous to tell me what's wrong with them. And I think that's part of the traits that they picked up from me, not crying out when I was in pain, because I didn't know how that was going to be received. And it seems as though I planted those seeds in my children too, because now both of them don't know how to tell me what is wrong with them, what the problem is with them. They always tiptoe around it or say nothing when I can clearly see something's wrong, because they don't, it's like they're trying to avoid a confrontation with me when I'm really just trying to figure out what's wrong, how can I help. And I've given that to them. That's a piece of me that I picked up way back then as a little girl, 7, 8 years old, holding her breath, taking the licks. I don't know if everybody know what licks is, but taking the hits, okay? The little girl taking the hits and being quiet because she knew that if she cried out, it would excite the person beating her and they would do more. And they did. The first few times I started that no crying thing, man, when I tell you, my daddy beat my ass till he was sweating and panting, just trying to get me to cry out. I didn't give it to him and he was pissed. Like, that nigga felt like the lesson he thought he was teaching me was definitely not learned, because he didn't get a cry from me. He didn't know that I figured out that if I held my breath when he was on the upswing until he finished his downswing, I wouldn't feel it. Trust me, I would feel it later, because there was many times I would be sitting in a bathtub of Epsom salt or whatever, concoction my mother came up with to try to help me heal all the welts and open wounds all over my back and butt and legs. Because I got beat, y'all. Like, not whooped. I got beat. And like I said, with whatever was convenient to pick up and beat me with. So I would be all kind of damaged and in pain. And when I would get in those tub concoctions of whatever my mom was trying to do to make the swelling go down and bleeding stop and shit, that's when I allowed myself to cry. Because I knew this water is hot as hell, and whatever's in here is about to hurt me. So I know that when I sit in here, I'm gonna start sweating, and then I can cry and she won't notice that I'm crying, because I too believe that she got off somehow on seeing someone other than herself be beat. And these are things that we carry like tattoos. If not the physical scars, but the scars on our hearts and on our spirits. I'm gonna get it together, y'all, because I'm not doing this crime shit today. I'm just not. Like, I really feel like I have no more tears left for this particular situation. Not for my own. Not for the things that I've been through. I don't feel like I have any tears left for that. And although I still have empathy for the little girl that went through that, I'm no longer her. So I choose to move on from those things even though the memories still are painful. But those kind of scars are tattooed on you. So you grow up to either be the parent that becomes the bully, like my dad was, or you become the parent that becomes the non-disciplinarian at all because you don't want to be like what you came from. I'm somewhere in between the two of those. My kids do not get their asses whooped near as much as they both deserve to. You know, like, for me, it's all the beatings that I got as a child really did not change the outcome. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure it molded the outcome of who I became. And I was not happy with the results of that. So I feel like, well, maybe if I don't beat my kids as much, I won't pass on those scars to them too. But then I see that both of my children are spoiled as hell. And both of them are, well, my daughter a lot more than my son, but both of them can be inconsiderate. And my daughter, I raised I'm a Sagittarius and so is she. Our birthdays are 3 days apart. And if you, I had my birthday, baby. But she's a Sagittarius too. And it's like, I don't know if y'all know anything about Sagittarius, but if you do, just understand that I am Sagittarius. I'm not a Sagittarius. I am Sagittarius. Like, traits right down the board, I'm that. And my daughter is also, but on the parallel spectrum. Whereas I'm loud in your face, what's up, you know, like that type of a personality because of the way, because of the way I grew up. Instead of growing up to be that shy, sheltered type of introvert that was, you know, scared to open their mouth, I turned into the exact opposite. In your face, loud, in charge. You see me, you hear me, you're gonna know I'm here. What's up? If it's a problem, let's fight. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not a fight, then I'm not there. That's kind of how I grew up because I was tired of getting my ass whooped. So I was like, you know what, we used to ration some of this shit out. So I'm about to start whooping motherfuckers' asses like I've been getting my ass whooped because somebody needs to feel how I felt. Now, I was not a bully. Don't get it twisted. I was never a bully. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of fights that I got into protecting people that were being bullied because I knew what it felt like to be bullied. Because when I left school and went home, I was bullied. But I kid y'all not, I think I've had the last number that I'm firm on is 68. I think I've had 68 fist fights in my life. And God is my witness, and thank God I have not lost one. Which is why I'm now doing my work. Because my attitude is still like, what's up, we can get it. And I know that my ass whooping is out there waiting on me. You know what I mean? I know that the person that's going to whoop my ass is out there right now waiting on me. I don't know who it is. I haven't engaged them because I don't engage anybody. But somebody has an ass whooping with my name on it because I haven't had one yet. I've had some close calls. Don't get it twisted. I've had a couple of fights where it was like, oh, bitch, I didn't know if I was going to win or not. But I've never lost one. So I know my ass whooper is on the horizon. And me at 35, I ain't trying to meet that bitch. So I don't try to fight. So I become who my daughter is now. Because she don't want to fight. She just want to have fun and be pretty and draw and, you know, paint and do her art. Like, She don't want no smoke. Don't get it twisted though. She's had 2 fights and she's won them both. She can fight. She got that honestly. But she don't go looking for no problems. Whereas me at her age, nigga, I'm at every problem. Oh, it's a problem, here I come. It don't even gotta be my problem. Let's get it. You know what I mean? I was ignorant. But I was ignorant because of the way I was raised. The seeds that were planted in me grew and bloomed into that bitch. I'm not that bitch no more. You know, I'm much more comfortable at home, in the house, around my children, and enjoying things with them. Like I don't have any friends. Like, you know, I know people be like, no new friends. No, I have 0 friends. 0. Now there's probably some people out there. I take that back. I have 2 friends. 2. Linda and Ruth Ann. 2 friends. Neither of them live in the state of Texas. Neither of them are my age. Both of them are 50 plus years old. These are women that are friends of mine, who I talk to from time to time, who I learn from every time I talk to, whose wisdom and advice I respect. But other than that, y'all, I have 0 friends. And I love it. I can't front. I love it. I don't have to get into bullshit. And that's what a lot of friends bring you. And we all have those people that call and hit you up, and every time it's a problem. Every time you see they shit pop on your phone, you're like, I wonder what this bitch is into now. What is it? It's always something. We all have that, at least one friend like that, where every time they call, you know they're calling to tell you it's a problem. But what that does to a person, when people imprint all of their bullshit on you, every time you talk to them, they got some more bullshit going on. And I'm telling you, I have an associate that I can't even answer the phone for no more, y'all. Like, if this person calls me, I have to reject the call and send a message like, I'm in the shower, what's up? Just to make them text me. Because I know that when I answer my phone, they are calling to tell me about 1 of 3 problems, or 2 of 3 problems, or on a terrible day, all 3 problems. It's always going to be her man, her child, or her health. Yeah. And ain't none of it good. It's never good. And it's always the same problem, the same situation. And me, I am a great advice giver. Let me tell you. I give really good advice. Although I cannot help myself out with a math problem. But I give great advice. And I've given the same advice to this person over and over and over again. And this person has not implemented any of the changes that I suggested for her. But every time she calls, she wants to complain about those same 3 issues. Nigga, this problem ain't new to me. So don't call me. I've already told you what to do. You don't want to do it, deal with it then. However you going to do it, but don't call me. But you can't tell people things like that because it hurts their feelings. It hurts their feelings. Everybody's fine feeling. You hurt my feelings. So instead, you start avoiding that. Ooh, I thought I just seen him up the drive by. Let me in the house. Ooh, I can't talk them into it. Because, you know, and not everybody is empathetic. I know that. But I'm an empath. So I feel other people's bullshit. Like, seriously. And I feel it in a deep, dark place. The deep, dark place that's still inside of me is I'm trying to heal. I feel it in that place. And it becomes overwhelming. So then I'm waking up in the middle of the night crying, not knowing why the fuck I'm crying, because nothing has went wrong today. It's all everybody else's shit weighing down on me, and I cry because I have to release that. So I've woken up in the middle of like many days just crying, and I have to just sit there and just cry it out because I'm dealing and holding so much bullshit. I need a release. And I don't have a soul that I can call and say, man, I need to talk. I'm done. So I have to think about the lessons that I'm teaching my kids. And they're polar opposites, but they're both me. My daughter is a social butterfly. Everybody is her friend. Like, you know, she's a social butterfly. My son, on the other hand, he don't like nobody, and it seems to be reciprocated. He doesn't have any friends either, like me. And for him, that worries me, because a little boy, 8 years old, needs some friends. He needs somebody he can go outside and run around and play with and everything. But for my son, it just never quite goes that way, because even though he has a sister, it's kind of like he was an only child, because she was already 8 years old when he was born and was, you know, has been helping take care of him since then. So he knows he has a big sister, but the distance in age don't allow them to have enough in common to play with each other. So he grew up kind of like the only child. And you know how only children is. That's mine. We're going to do it my way. Okay, I'm doing this. Oh, you don't like it? Well, get the fuck out. And that is the way he is. And that's not a way that's cohesive with having friends. Hence the reason he doesn't. And that's sad. That hurts me, because I never want to see a child like that. An adult like that is necessary. But a child like that is worrisome. Because shit, you never know if you're raising someone who's going to be a serial killer. Or, someone who you just don't know. You just don't know. His depression worries me. It does. My own depression worries me at times. But these self-discoveries that you get when you start doing the work, it's therapeutic, it's cathartic, but it's also really, really rough. It really is. Because nobody likes looking in the mirror. Nobody likes looking at themselves and seeing the ways in which they have done things wrong. But now, I'm doing all that I can to get into those deep, dark places that I've been, you know, pushing down for forever, and trying to just be better than. And you know, whenever you hold things down and try to instead aim to be better than, you're still leaving a lot of unresolved issues. Because just because you buried them and covered them up with all these good things does not mean that those seeds that are buried under there are not still growing and blooming in you. That was me. Like, I've accomplished a lot in my life. I really have, thank God. But for all the accomplishments, all of that bullshit that was planted in me, all of those seeds still have bloomed into pretty much a hermit. I don't fuck with nobody, and I would prefer nobody to fuck with me. Even though I've matured a lot and made a lot of changes for the better for me and my family, I've made a lot of negative changes too, and I'm aware of that. I feel like I've gotten out of touch with my children. We hardly share any of the same interests, so it's really difficult for me to get into that let's spend time mommy mode when there's a whole bunch of shit that they're doing that I cannot relate to. So that's something else that I'm working on. I'm trying to find things that I can do with both of my children that we both enjoy doing so that we can have that time spent together. I'm going to make it happen because I'm doing my work. And I hope that you guys have also started looking inward and seeing ways in which you too can do some work and do some changing. Because it's necessary for us all. Everybody I know is walking around with scars. And we need to heal them so that we don't continue to pass those on to our children and the next generation, and next generation, next generation. Because if you look around, we're fucked up enough. So we keep passing this shit down. That's like watering down liquor. By the time it gets to our grandkids, that shit gonna be straight water. It's gonna be out of hand. We have got to clean this shit up.